Being one of the true next-gen titles to be released at launch really shows us a glimpse into what we can come to expect from the PlayStation 4. The visuals are beautiful, the frame rate is smooth, and the install is massive, but we'll get to that later. The story in Shadowfall is not your typical FPS story, where you're thrown headfirst into some crazy war. Here, you start out as a child during the time when the Helghast are beginning to take control of New Helgen, the portion of Vectis sectioned off for them after the planet was destroyed by the Vectans. Your character is also not your typical soldier. He is a Shadow Marshal, one of Vectis' most high-level Black Ops soldiers. He is the type of soldier that goes in alone to retrieve intel or perform assassinations without the comfort of having a squad by his side, and that is the way a majority of the game is played, alone. Having the story take place during a conflict and not a war sets the game to play a lot slower than most would prefer, but it does pull off what it sets out to. The storytelling takes precedence over any type of over-the-top action, and weaves a good, albeit slow, story, especially in the end. Controls in a first-person shooter are always at the core of what makes it a good game, and Shadowfall is no exception. This game controls as good as the best of them, and throws in the use of the touchpad to make the selection over what you want your owl to do for you. If you're asking yourself what's an owl, it's a little hovering sentry bot that does multiple things to assist you along your trek through the game. It does things like hold a line for you as you rappel down to lower areas, attack enemies for you while you're trying to regain some health, put up a one-way shield in front of you, or even hack doors or alarm panels. In other words, it's an extremely helpful little gadget that you'll find yourself using quite a bit. All in all, the controls are thankfully what you'd come to expect of a AAA title. It's great to see when a launch game has visuals that blow away the generation before it. In the past, there always seemed to be only a slight increase in visual fidelity when crossing generations. This time we are given a game that clearly could not have been done on the PlayStation 3. Running at a smooth and native 1080p, explosions jump off the screen and particle effects are as amazing to watch even in the smallest of places. Water looks amazing and the lighting effects are nothing short of lifelike. Hot metal gives off a glow that gets cut by floating dust and other particles. And it's all something you get some time to enjoy, since as I mentioned before, the game plays out a lot slower than expected. This allows for you to take some time to take in all the visual beauty. Of all the launch titles for the PlayStation 4, Killzone Shadowfall is probably the best looking game of them all, only being bested in particle effects by the obvious Resogun. There is one thing that must take special note though. The fact that this game boots up from the PS4's main menu in a matter of seconds is something that takes some getting used to. There is no blasting of publishers or developers taking up your precious game time. It just goes straight to the game's main menu and literally takes less than a minute with no button presses to get you there. It's a refreshing new feature that I can't wait for other games to start utilizing. Beginning with the intro movie, you're given a clear answer as to how well the audio works in this title. Guerrilla has done a fantastic job of setting the tone through audio cues and voice acting. The weapons sound great and have a wonderful punch to them, even the laser-based weapon that allows you to use it as either an assault rifle or a makeshift sniper rifle. The audio throughout has been executed masterfully and helps build on delivering a solid gameplay experience. The Killzone franchise has had its problems with its multiplayer, but with only having 2 games to hone in on what they truly wanted to be, gave me hope that this would have been much better than that of Killzone 3. The obvious star of the show is still Warzone, a mode in which multiple game types are set in a large map and allow 2 teams to battle it out over varying objectives. All modes can be set up to be played in Warzone, and they load up dynamically as you play and as objectives are fulfilled by either your team or the other. It creates a good balancing act between both teams, as your team may be good at securing an objective, but not good at defending it. Warzone allows all players to dabble in all different gameplay modes, and can really help in balancing out teams if the modes are selected effectively. There are the rotten eggs of this entry though. Not being able to finish a downed enemy is a major problem if respawning is not forced. The downed enemy can just lay in wait to be revived and kill you from behind. I found this to be sorely annoying while playing in large battles, since the enemy you know you killed just a few seconds ago just melee killed you from behind when there shouldn't have been any enemies behind you. It creates an unneeded level of frustration when playing online. The other problem is that if you're not playing Warzone, the online portion just seems to not have that much replay to it, which makes the game feel as though it only has one true online component. With all that said, it feels as though the multiplayer for this game has taken a small step backwards. It doesn't mean that it's not good, it just means that it could have been better. Having a strong campaign and a mediocre multiplayer make this a decent purchase for the lover of the FPS genre. It's different than your cookie cutter Call of Duty clone and tries something a little different with slowing down the pace a bit in the beginning. But just to let all of you know, the install for these next-gen titles is going to be massive. Killzone's install file weighs in at a staggering 45 gigabytes, but don't let that deter you from giving this a shot. It's a pretty large price of admission, but it installs quickly, and to truly experience what next gen has to offer right now, it's what we have to start getting used to. A 4 out of 5.